Daniel Sports Central, we go for a college football bowl preview and prediction on the 2021 Military Bowl matchup between the Boston College Eagles and the East Carolina Pirates. Both teams have had good seasons to this point. Should make for a good matchup here in the Military Bowl. We'll be going for a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Boston College lost to Wake Forest 10-41 in the last game of the regular season, so obviously tough loss there, losing to Wake Forest by several touchdowns, but they're 6-6, got up to 6 wins. Did lose their last 2 games actually of the regular season. They also lost to Florida State back on November 20th by 3. So yeah, Boston College, good football team. They're 6-6, and honestly, I feel like this team is underachieved in this 2021 season. I mean, they got Grosselli, your quarterback. I mean, he hasn't played excellent. I mean, down the stretch, of course, for Boston College, you've had a couple of quarterbacks. Jurkovec being the primary quarterback. He's been back in the past few weeks, and he's played decent. But I mean, this Boston College football team just offensively has had a few issues, and I mean, overall down the stretch, defensively has kind of been the strength of this football team. But nonetheless, they're 6-6, got up to that 6-win threshold. As for East Carolina, lost to Cincinnati 13-35 was the final score there. So did lose to Cincinnati by a significant amount, but Cincinnati's in the college football playoffs, so you got to keep that in mind. They're a phenomenal football team, but still not a bad season though for ECU, getting up to 7-5 on the regular season. Game will be on Monday, December 27th, Annapolis, Maryland, and your kickoff time is 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Spread's going with Boston College here by 3. Over-under is 51.5, so a lower scoring game is expected here between these two football teams, and your FPI is going with Boston College here, 56.5%. So Boston College is favored in both areas for this matchup, and this is also the first matchup in these teams' histories against each other. Here's your stat comparison for this game. Once again, building on what I said earlier about Boston College and their offense. I mean, 24 points per game. That is a very low value for points per game. So offensively, I mean, they just have not had the best season, and defensively, they've done actually pretty good on the defensive side of the ball, allowing 173 average pass yards a game. So passing defense has been one of the main strengths for Boston College in this season. Rush yards allowed per game has been 170, so that stat actually isn't very good, but that's definitely something to keep in mind there. But then again, I mean, East Carolina, I mean, they can rush the ball, but I mean, they got a great running back there in Mitchell, Keaton Mitchell, but I mean, otherwise, East Carolina is also pretty good at the passing game as well. Allers, their quarterback, has over 3,000 passing yards on this season. But yeah, for ECU, they got 29 points per game. So offensively, they're a bit better, 26 points allowed. And then for yards allowed, you got 233 passing, 161 for rushing. Here's some recent matchups as well. Boston College once again lost their last 2 games, lost to Wake Forest 10-41, number 18 team in the nation at the time, and also lost to Florida State by 3. Beat Georgia Tech 41-30, beat Virginia Tech 17-3. Did lose to Syracuse there on the road 6-21. And as for East Carolina, you lost to Cincinnati, but you beat Navy, you beat Memphis, both by close margins. Beat Temple 45-3, solid win, and also beat South Florida 29-14. So I mean, this is kind of it's a tough matchup to compare the teams here because you got several factors in play. Jurkovec being back for Boston College over the past few weeks is, I mean, it's been a good. I mean, I would say it's been a good thing. I think Grosselli he just was not playing well. I'm just going to be honest. And having Jurkovec back in there, I think has been. I mean, his stats on the year aren't terrible. 914 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4 picks. But I mean, once again, Boston College offensively just can't get much going. So, I mean, if East Carolina can get to 30 points in this game, roughly 30 points, I think they win this game. I mean, because Boston College's defense, that's what their strength is, and Boston College has had a lot of trouble putting up points on the board. So, yeah, for East Carolina, if you're looking at their strength of schedule, they've played an easier schedule, there's no doubt. I mean, but on the same side, I mean, East Carolina has looked more impressive in their games. They lost to Houston by a touchdown, lost to UCF by 4, lost to South Carolina by 3. Turns out South Carolina was a pretty good football team and lost to App State by a couple of touchdowns. And I mean, if you look at their wins, beat South Florida, Temple, Memphis, Navy, also beat Tulane by a significant margin, Charleston Southern, and Marshall. Marshall's in a bowl game. So, I mean, East Carolina, it's a good football team. I definitely think they deserve to be in a bowl game here. And I certainly think that they've got a good chance to win this game as well. But I mean, Boston College, there's a lot of uncertainty there. I mean, Boston College is incredibly inconsistent. So for all we know, Boston College could blow out East Carolina in this game, and it wouldn't surprise me. But I mean, once again, the inconsistencies here for the Eagles do concern me a bit. Some key points: Boston College offensively have been poor this season. Pass defense in particular has been great. So going up against Allers and this East Carolina offense, the passing defense will be good, but I think Keaton Mitchell might have a day on this Boston College rush defense. So we'll see what happens. That could totally be the main factor in this game. Keaton Mitchell is a phenomenal football player. And they've lost 6 of their last 8 as well. Something else to note. I mean, this is a football team that, I mean, they looked really good for a long time. I mean, they were 4-0 at the start of the football season. They turned out to be 6-6. So that's definitely something to note there going into this matchup. But yeah, pass defense in particular has been good this season for Boston College. But as for East Carolina, heavy passing offense. So they've got definitely heavy passing. But once again, you got a great running back in Keaton Mitchell, who's once again he's one of the best in their conference there in the American Athletic. So definitely something to note there as well. Keaton Mitchell is a key impact player along with Holton Allers. But yeah, they've won 4 of the last 5 as well. So momentum-wise, you could give the advantage to East Carolina. But that being said, let's go and get to the prediction here for Boston College and East Carolina Military Bowl. I'm going to go with East Carolina here, 28-24. And this is a tough one to predict, almost a coin toss. Both teams could definitely win this game. I could see it going either way. Boston College, of course, being a team that we've seen some great performances, and they've just been inconsistent. So for all we know, I mean, they've lost 2 straight games going into this matchup. And I mean, that's kind of the thing. I just feel like this Boston College team, I'm not sure that they're going to be totally motivated in this game. Motivation's a big factor in bowl games. We've seen that so much over the past few years, especially. And East Carolina, I mean, I feel like East Carolina is going to come into this game playing off against an ACC Power 5 opponent. I feel like East Carolina is going to be more ready to go. They're going to be more motivated. They've won 4 of their last 5. They got more momentum. We've seen some good performances out of this football team. They've got plenty of talent as well. So East Carolina, I feel like, comes into this game, and I think they're going to get the win. Boston College, if they come ready to go, I mean, talent-wise, they could definitely win this game. They're favored right now, but I just feel like East Carolina is going to be, they're just the better team in this game, and I feel like that they get the win here by a score of 28-24. Over-under is 51.5. I'm going to take the over for this game just barely. I do think we see the over here, especially, I mean, once again, if East Carolina gets up to 30 points or so, I do think that they've probably won this game, I would say, because, I mean, Boston College has been averaging 24 points a game. I mean, it's been tough for them to get above 25. So, I mean, yeah, I think if East Carolina can get up to 30 points or so, they should win this game, I do think. I mean, if you look at Boston College down the stretch, I mean, this football team has not put up a lot of points over the course of the season. I mean, they put up 45 and 51 against Colgate and UMass, but those teams aren't quite on the same level as East Carolina, for example. So definitely something to keep in mind there. The most points otherwise, it looks like, was against Missouri back on September 25th. They did score 41 points in an overtime game there, so that's definitely on the bright side. Also scored 41 to Georgia Tech, but I mean, otherwise, I mean, Boston College just has had trouble putting points up on the board, and I think East Carolina comes into this game ready to go. They get the win, 20-24. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you later.